because the Virginia MK is not currently operating a professional basketball team. Perhaps it's time to call upon higher powers. And if you're a Chicago Bears fan, divine intervention might be exactly what your franchise needs. Enter the Pope. Yes, the Pope. Maybe, just maybe, a papal blessing is what it takes to resurrect the Bears' quarterback fortunes. The situation in Chicago is so dire, so in need of supernatural alignment, that the notion of Caleb Williams getting a one-on-one Vatican audience doesn't sound all that far-fetched. A spiritual reboot, a laying on of hands, a blessing from the Bishop of Rome himself might be the franchise's best hope for finally unlocking quarterback potential in the Windy City. If the Pope is, in fact, handing out blessings to sports franchises, then the Golden State Warriors should be next in line, urgently. This team isn't just facing adversity. They're teetering on the edge, clinging to relevance as their dynastic window slams shut. Watching them is like witnessing a spiritual rite, the last rites, to be exact. And if the Warriors are in desperate need of salvation, so too might be the Minnesota Timberwolves opponents, especially if Anthony Edwards continues to defy injury logic and playoff expectations. The sight of Edwards collapsing to the floor evoked a collective gasp across the basketball world. It looked catastrophic, an ankle bent unnaturally, his face contorted in pain. His gait so labored resembled someone limping away from an unseen sniper in Dealey Plaza. Trainers assisted him off the court, the mood somber, the outlook bleak. But then came the twist. Edwards returned in the second half with the kind of bounce that defied medical explanation. Alley-oops, dunks, aggressive drives. He looked better post-injury than he did before. It was a performance that raised eyebrows and questions. Was it truly an injury or just a dramatic bathroom break? Hyperbole aside, it was clear that Edwards was more shaken than actually damaged. What unfolded after that ankle scare was vintage Ant-Man, gritty, explosive, and sensational. He poured in 13 of his 20 points in the second half, connecting on 4 or 6 shots while adding 5 rebounds. It was a clutch performance that shifted momentum. The catalyst? Perhaps fear, perhaps adrenaline, perhaps the aura of a superstar learning how to own the postseason. When LeBron James, a 265-pound freight train, collides with your lower half, fear is a valid reaction, but the great ones return. And Edwards didn't just return. He elevated. Yet, as we bask in Edwards' resurrection, a subplot demands attention. The demise, or perhaps more accurately, the regression of the Golden State Warriors. No Steph Curry, no shot. It's as simple as that. The difference without him isn't subtle. It's seismic. Jonathan Kuminga led the Warriors with 18 points, and Jimmy Butler added 17. But therein lies the problem. Jimmy Butler cannot be ordinary. He must be extraordinary. He must be playoff Jimmy, the mythic, mythologized version of himself that emerges when stakes are highest and lights are brightest. Anything less spells doom. When Jimmy Butler is locked in when he is the offensive hub, when the scheme runs through him, magic happens. We saw it in Miami. We didn't see it in Philadelphia, where the pecking order tilted toward Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. We didn't see it in Chicago, where Derrick Rose was the centerpiece. We certainly didn't see it in Minnesota during that brief, volatile stint with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. The Heat allowed him to be the guy, and in doing so, they unlocked a version of Butler that could drag underdog rosters to the NBA Finals. That version was absent last night. Butler's 13 field goal attempts simply weren't enough. Not in a game the Warriors desperately needed. His aggression must go beyond scoring. It must be contagious, infecting the role players, empowering shooters, and elevating his team ceiling. And to Steve Kerr's credit, he pulled out every trick in the bag. He played 14 guys in the first half alone. 14. That a coaching staff searching for answers in every corner of the roster, even the dusty back of the bench. Trace Jackson Davis, who was nearly forgotten this season, emerged as a surprisingly productive contributor. Spencer Dinwiddie, lacrosse jokes aside, got his number called. But these are symptoms of a team trying to fill the Steph Curry-shaped void with duct tape and hustle. It's not sustainable. Yet even amid the experimentation, glimmers of hope emerged. A lineup featuring Butler, Buddy Hield, Brandon Podziemski, Draymond Green, and Kuminga posted a +8 rating in just 11 minutes. There might be something there, a five-man unit that can survive Curry's absence and provide a functional offensive rhythm. The key? Butler. Always Butler. He must demand the ball. He must orchestrate. He must dominate. Not necessarily by scoring 40, but by setting the tone. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Timberwolves displayed a brand of cohesion and execution rarely associated with their franchise. Julius Randle, a critical tone setter early, penetrated and kicked out for open looks. Jaden McDaniels and Mike Conley Jr. hit rhythm threes. Anthony Edwards found McDaniels in transition. It was quick, clean, and brutally efficient. Minnesota scored their first 8 points off plays initiated by their stars, but completed by role players. And after 2 games of frigid shooting from beyond the arc, just 12 of 76, everything clicked. The Wolves looked locked in, organized, and, most importantly, dangerous. Edwards may have scared everyone with his injury theatrics, but when the dust settled, he reminded the world why he is one of the most electric young stars in the game today. And if Jimmy Butler doesn't counter with a masterpiece of his own soon, the Warriors' playoff journey might be over before it even begins. Divine intervention or not, basketball waits for no one.